Hello, friends, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about p5.js just a little bit. It is a JavaScript library for creative coding with a focus on making, you can read the rest of this yourself. Go to this website, check it out. You can download it at this download link. I put it on the syllabus. We can go to that download page, and you can see we can go to the online editor right here, or we can download the complete library if we want to, or we can download single files. We can download just p5.js, just the p5.min.js, which will be a compressed version of this. It's just a little bit smaller. We can also use a CDN if you know what that is. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain that at some point. Right now I'm going to show you the p5 editor. And the P5 editor is a place where we can just write P5 code online and see the results over here. So I can, knowing as I do that we can make an ellipse at 200, size of 100, and we'll say fill 200, we'll say 25500. That's an RGB color, so red is all red, no green, no blue. The ellipse is going to be located at an X position of 200 and a Y position of 200 with a size of 100, I hope. And since I'm writing it in this setup function, it will run once. This setup function runs, and the reason I get nothing is because the background is set to draw in the draw loop. So the setup function runs once. This draw loop runs continuously. So I'm going to take this background and I'm going to move it to the setup. Once the draw loop doesn't run at all, and there's my circle. It's got this little black stroke. I could say no stroke. There we go. Now, if you want to get an exhaustive look at everything P5e, look at this guy, Daniel Schiffman. He's really the key YouTube video person for P5, and I've learned so much from him over the years about all kinds of neat things. I suggest you get started learning from him too, because those videos are amazing. I'm not going to try to reproduce what he does. I'm just going to show you quickly how to get started. You can also go to this, and we can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move all this out of setup and into draw. And in here, I'm actually going to go to the global scope up here. And I'm going to set an X position of 0. I'm going to use this variable in here. And look at that. Let's just increment that to show this draw loop. We'll say X position plus plus. Running whenever the window here has the resources available, this draw loop will run again. The setup will only run once. So if I do X position plus plus up there, it's only going to happen once. We could say X position plus equals 100, and we'll see, it moves over 100, but it only does it once. The things that happen in the draw loop happen continuously. So this is a lovely environment for working on the fly, getting set up immediately. You can go to the file menu and you can look at the examples, and you can probably find everything you want to learn in these examples. So it really just depends what sort of a learner you are. Some people just want to explore what they explore. Some people want to learn everything in the API. If you're that type, gosh, I feel sorry for you. It's going to be hard. There's a lot of things to learn here. So my recommendation is just learn what you need for what you're working on at the present time. And that's going to be true with programming, generally speaking, I think. And so you can learn about all kinds of things in here. You can also see examples from the P5 website. if you want to explore programming structure, simulation, form, typography, 3D, we could spend years learning about P5. And honestly, I have. Um, but in this assignment, we're going to use P5, and I'm going to do that in the next video. I'm going to actually code along with you. So you can pause me. You can totally skip that video if you'd rather just read it, because it's going to be kind of like this. And we're gonna make sort of a version of our what we did with our CPE sampler. We're gonna do it in P5, and I hope you'll see some of the advantages that we have to getting a more expressive interface. But before I go, I want to first of all show you, here's some code I made at some point. I've got a whole lot of sketches like this, like hundreds of them over the years of teaching P5. This is a cellular automata, and we'll learn stuff like this. You'll be a pro at making stuff like this soon, and stuff much more interesting than this too. But this is a great place to start, is in here and with these examples, and this is really taking up a lot of resources on my computer. But so you can go in the examples and you can learn about sine, cosine. Let's see what they have about sine here that can kind of, and one thing I really love about understanding P5 or using P5 for understanding math is that you can actually see what this math is doing over here. And we'll get into that once we get our sort of bearing with this P5 environment. But I want to mention, so this editor is one way you can work with P5. And if that's enough for you, that's fine. You can also share these sketches, obviously, from here. You can put this in the assignment submission and just submit this. That's not how I am going to work in P5, because I really enjoy, as I've said, this Visual Studio Code editor. I'm used to using it. I like using it. So if you don't have it installed, I recommend giving it a shot, downloading it for your operating system. It's free. And I'm going to go ahead and download, not go to the editor this time. I'm going to download P5.js complete here. And we'll see what that gives me. This zip file here. Look at this zip file, and we'll see there's that P5 sketch test, I'll call it. I'm going to take this folder and I'm going to drag it onto VS Code, and we can have a look at what we have in this case. So now we're not using the online editor. Now we're using this VS Code, which I appreciate, and I'll show you why in a sec. So in here we've got the P5 library, we've got the minimized library, and we've got some add-ons here, P5 sound, and we've got this empty example. So let's look at this empty example. It's got a sketch, and it's got an index.html. I'm going to open up this index.html, and we'll see that this index.html has a doc type, specifies no language, and it's got some meta stuff, and it's got the title. This title is what's going to show in the web browser if I open up this page. And so I'm just going to say hi just so we can see that. You can see it's just got some default CSS, and it's got this body. And the P5 library is going to put inside here, it's going to put a canvas tag, and I'll show you that in a sec. So what we'll do is right click on this, or control click on this file here, and say open with live server. And you can see there's my hi right there. I just changed that title. It's an empty example. If we go to the browser, uh, console, we can see there was some sort of an icon didn't load. I don't know what that's all about. If we'll go to elements, we can see inside this main was put a canvas. So there's this canvas tag here, and this canvas tag, or this canvas element, was put in by my JavaScript. And it's inside this canvas that all my P5 sketch is going to run. This is something called the HTML5 canvas. We'll learn more about it in further days. But just wanted to show you that's kind of what's happening here. We're going to write our code then in this sketch.js. And we can load as many JavaScript files as we want using this format here. We'll use a script tag with a source. So if I wanted to add another JavaScript file for some reason, I could do that. And there will be good reasons to do that very soon. But for now, I'm just going to look at this code and notice that it's pretty much the same as the P5 editor. We've got, so if we go to new, you get, they start you out with a function setup. We'll call create canvas. Create canvas is a function which creates that canvas element. And then in the draw loop, this draw loop's just drawing a background. Let's take a look in here. In this sketch, oh, I'm not sure where that canvas is coming from because I don't see a create canvas in here. So that's intriguing. But that may be a new thing that happened recently. I'll have to look into that. Let's say I refresh this browser. Hi. So I think maybe it by default loads a canvas in this main tag if that main tag exists. I'm going to delete that main tag and see what happens if I do that. So now I've just got a body, and if I go here, the main tag is still there. This is quite eerie almost. There's something going on behind the scenes. Okay, now the main tag is still there. So P5 must put that in by default. Let's just run some code here, and in setup, I'm gonna create canvas 1000 by 1000, and I'm gonna set the background color to purple. And there we go. So now the background of this thing, that's 1000 by 1000, and you can see that main tag is still there, but now the canvas is bigger. So obviously this main tag is just something that's happening in this P5 library. But the important thing is this is a P5 sketch just like that other one. And I can draw an ellipse. And I'm gonna sort of fill of, actually let's do greenish. So now we've got this green thing here, and we can write all of our JavaScript in here. And in the next video, we're gonna actually write some JavaScript and get into this. I just wanted to talk about what these sketches actually are. So this draw loop is anything that happens here is going to get drawn onto the canvas. And we can see they're still here in our DOM. And if you are interested to learn more about the DOM, you can watch those JavaScript morsels videos. It's not, there's no other element. All this is getting drawn on the canvas. So the canvas is a place where we can draw stuff. And it is, this one is currently 1000 by 1000. So you can see there's the edge. And over here is just nothing. And if I grab this here, I can see there's my canvas. It's 1000 by 1000. And this is just this main div that is somehow, it's a new thing. It's a new thing to me too. I just learned about it during this video. Isn't that amazing? The last thing I want to show you is how can we get this up to Git hub. So we can share this sketch with everyone in the class. I'm going to go to GitHub. And if you want a little bit more on GitHub, I've got those videos on Git and GitHub. I'm just going to show you here the super easy way to do it. I'm going to make a repository. It's going to be called P5 test. And I'm going to say new. And I'm going to say, oops, I made a new repository now that I put new. It's going to be called P5 test. I am going to initialize it with a README this time. And I'm going to click create repository. And you can see I have now this sketch. And I can edit this README. I can say like, this is just a test sketch. Okay, so I'm going to go down here and make sure I click this green button to commit those changes. And now there it is. This is just a test sketch. Now, how do I get this P5 sketch up here? What I'm going to do is grab... I'm gonna change something because this is wonky. I'm gonna delete this right here. And I'm gonna move this in here. And just double check and make sure this is still running. And it is. You can see the sketch is still working perfectly well because I changed the location of this P5 file and I also changed this path name. So what we'll do is upload now the 3 of these files, but not this enclosing folder. So let's do that. I'm going to go to my GitHub repo and it's a drag and drop operation. Watch this. We'll just go 1, 2, 3. We'll drag them into this window and we'll make sure we get them right in there. Oops. I need to go to the main. There we go. Now I can drag and drop these 3 right in here. I guess I cannot. What am I doing wrong? I want to add file, upload files. My bad. And now I can drag and drop right in here. Nope. Let's see why this isn't working. I know there's something funny going on here. Oh, I need to reveal these in the Finder. And now I can drag and drop these files. This is so poorly done. I think I'm going to have to do it again. But we'll see how long it is. And we'll drag and drop these in here. Now we just have to hit this commit button here. And those files are up there. So now I've got this shareable link. I can take this and submit it as an assignment. But I want to show you one more thing. I can go settings, GitHub pages tab. Now where the heck is that? Pages right here. And I'm going to go main save. My site is ready to be published. I'm going to go back here. And then I'm going to go back to settings. Go to pages. My site is now published at this link. And I'm going to go there. And there's my website. I just built a website with an HTML5 canvas. Now, I think I'm actually going to keep this video. I said I was going to not keep it because I did some goofy stuff there, but y'all understand. And what I really want to do is go now next to this code along. And I'm going to do all those things again in this code along. But I'm going to do a lot more. We're going to talk about how P5 works. And I'm going to build this thing. So I'm just going to follow along with you. You can also just follow along with the text and do it on your own if that makes you happier. And I will see you in that video. We're going to work with sounds. We're going to work with creating an interface. And we're going to make a generative music composition. So I hope you'll come along with me for that one. And